The kingpin was cold and the fifth wheel latch hung open. A state trooper stood under the Interstate 70 bridge, near mile marker 208. Boots sinking into April mud, staring at a day cab tractor still idling, its trailer 20 feet upstream, half submerged in the shallow creek. The load inside the trailer, 42 pallets of canned soup, sat dry and strapped exactly as the bill of lading described. But the coupling hardware that should have held truck to trailer lay on the gravel shoulder, and the driver was gone. Her name was Claire Donovan. She was 24. She had been hauling solo for 11 months. 3 things didn't fit. The kingpin, the thick steel pin that locks trailer to tractor, wasn't broken. It was released. The safety chains required by federal law were unhooked and coiled neatly on the trailer tongue. And her logbook, found on the passenger seat, showed she'd been driving for 9 hours without a mandated rest break, but her ELD, the truck's digital time card, recorded only 7 hours and 14 minutes. The trooper, Sergeant Hallis, radioed dispatch at 6:18 p.m. He used 3 words the county would repeat for a decade. Unattended. Operational inconsistent. April 9, 2015. The sun was low and orange through the bridge girders. Hallis walked the shoulder. Tire marks curved toward the bridge abutment, then straightened. No skid, no panic. The tractor had been steered carefully off the roadway, engine left running, hazards off. Air fuel receipt on the dash showed a purchase at a truck stop near Salina, Kansas, 41 miles west, time-stamped 4:52 p.m. same day. She had driven east. She had stopped here. And then she had uncoupled her trailer in a place with no loading dock, no reason, no witness. He found her phone in the cup holder. Last call, 4:46 p.m. outgoing, to a dispatch number. Duration, 11 seconds. Hallis called the number. A man answered on the second ring. His voice was tight. This is Arrowhead Logistics. Who's calling? Kansas State Patrol. You had a driver named Claire Donovan? Silence, then, had? When did you last hear from her? She checked in at 4:46. Said she was making good time. She was supposed to call again at the delivery dock in Kansas City. She never did. Hallis looked at the idling tractor. What was she hauling? Soup, canned soup, non-perishable, low-value load. Any co-driver listed on the manifest? No solo run. Why? Hallis didn't answer. He ended the call and walked back to the trailer. It sat in 6 inches of water, rear doors still sealed with a numbered plastic tag, 487-66623. He pulled his knife and cut the seal. The doors swung open. 42 pallets, tight and square, shrink-wrapped in clear plastic. He climbed inside. The floor was dry. The walls were dry. He ran his hand along the interior ceiling. No leak, no condensation. He climbed down. The creek was shallow, moving slow. Mud and silt lined the banks. He saw 1 set of boot prints leading from the driver's door toward the water. Size 7, maybe 8. Small tread. They stopped at the creek edge and didn't come back. The sun touched the horizon. Hallis called for a dive team. They arrived at 8:03 p.m. 2 divers, 1 truck, 1 portable light rig. The water was murky, stained brown with spring runoff. Visibility less than 3 feet. The lead diver, a man named Ortiz, suited up and waded in. He moved slow, sweeping his hands through the silt. Hallis stood on the bank with a flashlight, watching the surface ripple and settle. Ortiz surfaced after 18 minutes. He pulled his mask off. His face was blank. Nothing. Nothing. No body, no debris. Just mud. Hallis pointed upstream. Check under the bridge. Ortiz went back under. The second diver followed. They worked the area in a grid, 30 feet upstream, 30 feet down. At 9:41 p.m. Ortiz surfaced again. He held something small and rectangular. He waded to the bank and handed it to Hallis. A laminated card. Truck stop fuel discount card. Claire's name printed on the front. The plastic was scratched but intact. Hallis turned it over. On the back, in ballpoint pen, someone had written a single line, "Check the BL." The handwriting was small and deliberate. Not hurried. Not distressed. Hallis radioed for the impound crew. They arrived at 11:16 p.m. and winched the trailer out of the creek. Hallis opened the rear doors again and climbed inside with a headlamp. He checked every pallet, 42. He counted the cases on the top layer of the nearest pallet, 24 cases, 12 cans per case. He did the math. If every pallet matched, the load was complete. He pulled the bill of lading from a plastic sleeve bolted to the interior wall. The document was 3 pages, printed on yellow paper. Origin, a canning facility in Hutchinson, Kansas. Destination, a distribution center in Kansas City. Shipper signature illegible. Receiver signature blank. Load weight 38,420 pounds. Seal number 4876623. Date April 8, 2015. Time loaded 6:30 a.m. Hallis flipped to the second page. It listed the trailer number, the tractor number, and the driver's CDL number. Everything matched. He flipped to the third page, a supplemental weight ticket from a certified scale. The ticket showed the truck had been weighed at a Kansas Doty weigh station near Abilene at 9:14 a.m. on April 9th. Gross weight, 72,140 pounds. The math worked. Tractor plus trailer plus load. He looked at the timestamp. 9:14 a.m. That was 7 hours before the fuel purchase in Salina, and 8 hours before Claire's last call to dispatch. Something about the timeline felt wrong. He climbed down and walked back to the tractor. The ELD unit was mounted on the dash, a small black screen with green text. He pressed the power button. The screen lit. He scrolled through the duty log. April 9th, 2015. 12:01 a.m. Off duty. Sleeper berth. 6:47 a.m. on duty. Pre-trip inspection. 7:02 a.m. Driving 2:16 p.m. off duty. The log showed Claire had stopped. Driving at 2:16 p.m. 7 hours and 14 minutes of drive time, legal, clean, but the fuel receipt said she was at the Salina truck stop at 4:52 p.m. 2 hours and 36 minutes after. The ELD said she'd stopped driving. Hallis pulled his notebook. He wrote 2 questions. Why did the ELD stop recording? Who wrote on the fuel card? He looked at the tractor's odometer. It read 487,392 miles. He subtracted the miles from Hutchinson to this bridge, roughly 210 miles. That put the odometer at about 487,182 when she left the facility. He checked the ELD's mileage log. Start of shift, 487,180 miles. End of shift, 487,394 miles. Total distance, 214 miles. The numbers matched. The route matched. But the timeline didn't. Hallis walked to the bridge abutment. He stood where the tire marks straightened. From this angle, he could see the trailer's resting place in the creek, and beyond it a gravel access road that ran parallel to the interstate used by maintenance crews. The road was unmarked. Most drivers wouldn't know it existed. He walked down the embankment to the access road. Tire tracks fresh. Narrow tread smaller than a tractor's dual wheels, a pickup truck maybe, or a van. The tracks led east, away from the bridge toward a county road 2 miles out. He radioed the county sheriff. They met at the junction of the access road and the county road at 1:03 a.m. The sheriff, a woman named Voss, had brought a spotlight and a camera. They followed the tire tracks. The tracks turned south on the county road, then disappeared into a stretch of gravel where the rain had washed the surface clean. Voss lowered the spotlight. "You thinking she got picked up?" Hallis nodded. "Or she walked out on her own. Why unhook the trailer?" "I don't know." They drove back to the bridge. The impound crew had chained the tractor and was preparing to tow. Hallis opened the driver's door one more time. He checked the glove box. Registration, insurance card, a folded paper map of Kansas. He unfolded the map. A route was traced in pencil from Hutchinson to Kansas City, straight along Interstate 70. No detours. No stops marked except the weigh station near Abilene. He checked the map's margins. In the bottom corner, in the same small handwriting from the fuel card, someone had written a phone number, 555528. The last 4 digits were smudged, unreadable. Hallis photographed the map. He folded it and put it in an evidence bag. The tractor was towed at 2:47 a.m. The trailer was stored in a DOT impound yard near Hayes. The load was inspected the next morning by a federal inspector. Every seal matched. Every pallet was accounted for. Every can of soup was intact. The inspector signed off and the load was released to the shipper. The case went cold. For 10 years, the Kansas State Patrol kept the file open. They interviewed Claire's family, her mother in Omaha, her younger brother in Denver. Neither had heard from her after April 8th. They interviewed the dispatcher at Arrowhead Logistics. He confirmed the timeline. Claire called at 4:46 p.m., said she was running on schedule and promised to call again at the delivery dock. She never did. They checked her bank account. No withdrawals after April 9th. They checked her social security number. No employment records after April 9th. They checked hospital admissions, arrest records, border crossings. Nothing. The ELD data was subpoenaed and analyzed by a federal technician. The unit showed no tampering, no malfunction. It simply stopped recording at 2:16 p.m. The technician noted one anomaly. The device's internal clock had been reset manually at 2:14 p.m., 2 minutes before it stopped logging. The reset required a 4-digit PIN, known only to the driver and the fleet manager. Arrowhead Logistics provided the PIN 7749. The technician confirmed the reset matched that code. Hallis asked the dispatcher, "Why would she reset the clock?" The dispatcher paused. "Then she wouldn't. It flags the logs. Doughty audits hammer you for clock resets. We train drivers never to touch it. Could someone else have reset it? They'd need to be in the cab. They'd need the PIN," Hallis wrote in his notebook, second person. In June 2015, a hiker found a woman's boot near a creek 12 miles east of the bridge. The boot was a size 7, brown leather, steel-toed, standard trucking gear. The sole matched the tread in the mud at the bridge. DNA testing confirmed the boot belonged to Claire. The other boot was never found. The search expanded. Cadaver dogs swept the creek bed. Volunteers walked the shoulder of Interstate 70 from mile marker 200 to mile marker 220. Nothing. In August 2015, a toll road transponder registered a hit on Interstate 70 near Topeka, 90 miles east of the bridge. The transponder belonged to Claire's tractor, but the tractor was still impounded in Hayes. The toll authority reviewed the footage. A day cab tractor, same make and model as Claire's, passed through the toll plaza at 3:18 a.m. on August 14th. The license plate was obscured by mud. The driver wore a baseball cap and sunglasses. The footage was too grainy to confirm identity. Hallis requested the transponder records from April 9th. The data showed Claire's truck had passed through a toll plaza near Bonner Springs at 5:47 p.m., 3 hours after the ELD stopped recording, and 51 miles east of the bridge where her tractor was found. He called the toll authority. "Can you confirm this hit was from her truck?" "Transponder ID matches, but we don't have camera footage from April. System was under maintenance." Hallis hung up. He looked at his timeline. If the toll hit was real, Claire had driven past the bridge, continued east, then turned around and came back. But why and when did she unhook the trailer? He reviewed the weigh station records. The scale ticket from Abilene showed the truck was weighed at 9:14 a.m., fully loaded. Gross weight 72,940 pounds. The next verified sighting was the fuel purchase in Salina at 4:52 p.m. Between those 2 points, 7 hours and 38 minutes. The distance, 63 miles. An average speed of 8 miles per hour. No truck drives that slow. Hallis requested the weigh station camera footage from Abilene. The footage showed Claire's truck pulling onto the scale at 9:12 a.m. She exited the cab and walked into the weigh station office. She returned to the truck at 9:19 a.m. The scale operator's notes indicated no violations, no delays. The truck left the scale at 9:21 a.m. Hallis froze the footage. He zoomed in on the driver's side. Claire was alone in the cab. But as the truck pulled away, a second figure appeared briefly in the passenger side mirror. Someone walking behind the trailer, wearing a dark jacket and a reflective vest. He called the weigh station operator. "Do you remember this truck?" "Not specifically. We see 200 trucks a day." "Do you remember a second person with the driver?" "No, but if someone was walking the lot, I wouldn't have noticed. Drivers check their loads all the time." Hallis requested footage from the fuel stop in Salina. The truck stop provided security video from April 9th. The footage showed Claire's tractor pulling into the fuel island at 4:51 p.m. Claire stepped out. She swiped her fuel card. She filled the tank. She walked into the convenience store and bought a bottled water. She returned to the truck at 4:56 p.m. Hallis watched the footage 3 times. He saw no second person, but at the edge of the frame, partially obscured by a parked trailer, He saw a white pickup truck. The truck's bed was empty. The license plate was angled away from the camera. He advanced the footage frame by frame. At 4:58 p.m., the white pickup pulled out and followed Claire's tractor out of the lot, eastbound on Interstate 70. Hallis called the Kansas City police. He requested a welfare check on the delivery address listed on the bill of lading, a distribution center in an industrial park near the Missouri River. The center confirmed they had been expecting Claire's load on April 9th. The load never arrived. They waited until 9 p.m., then called Arrowhead Logistics. The dispatcher said he'd try to reach Claire. He never did. The center's security logs showed no other deliveries that evening, but the guard on duty noted a white pickup truck had entered the lot at 7:14 p.m. and exited at 7:22 p.m. The driver told the guard he was lost and needed directions. The guard gave him directions back to the interstate. The truck left. Hallis reviewed the timeline one more time. 4 a.m., Claire weighs her truck in Abilene. Fully loaded. 4:52 p.m., Claire buys fuel in Salina. White pickup follows her. 5:47 p.m., toll transponder registers Claire's truck near Bonner Springs, 51 miles east of the bridge. 6:18 p.m., trooper finds Claire's truck at mile marker 208, trailer uncoupled, driver missing. 7:14 p.m., white pickup enters delivery center in Kansas City, then leaves. The timeline suggested Claire had driven past the bridge, continued east to Bonner Springs, then turned back. Somewhere in that window, she uncoupled the trailer and parked it under the bridge. Then she or someone else drove the tractor back to the fuel stop or forward to the delivery center. But the tractor was found at the bridge, and the trailer was found at the bridge. Nothing made sense. In November 2015, a maintenance crew cleaning the underside of the Interstate 70 bridge near mile marker 208 found a CB radio microphone clipped to a girder 30 feet above the creek. The microphone cord had been cut. The radio unit it belonged to was never found. The microphone was tested for prints. One partial print matched Claire's left thumb. Hallis returned to the bridge. He stood under the girder where the microphone was found. From this position, he could see the spot where the trailer had been parked. He could also see the access road where the white pickup's tire tracks had been found. He climbed the embankment to the shoulder. He looked east. At this mile marker, the interstate curved gently to the left. A driver heading east would lose sight of the bridge within 30 seconds. A driver heading west would see the bridge from a mile away. He walked back to his cruiser. He opened the evidence file. He reread the note on the fuel card. Check the BOL. He pulled the bill of lading from the file. He read it again. 3 pages. Yellow paper. Everything standard. He turned to the 3rd page, the weight ticket from the Abilene scale. He held it up to the light. There was a 2nd weight ticket underneath, printed on white paper. It had been stapled behind the yellow ticket, almost invisible. He peeled the staple and separated the 2 tickets. The 2nd ticket was from a different scale. A commercial truck scale in Lawrence, Kansas, 23 miles west of Bonner Springs. The ticket was dated April 9, 2015. Time 5:38 p.m., gross weight 34,420 pounds. Hallis did the math. The tractor weighed about 17,000 pounds. The empty trailer weighed about 13,000 pounds. Together 30,000 pounds. Add fuel and driver, 34,420 pounds. The truck had been weighed without the load. Hallis called the scale operator in Lawrence. The operator checked the records. Yeah, I remember this. Driver said she needed to verify her empty weight for a new route. Paid cash. Took her ticket and left. Did you see anyone else with her? No, she was alone. Did you see another vehicle follow her? I don't think so. But I wasn't watching. Hallis hung up. He stared at the 2 weight tickets. The first ticket from Abilene showed a gross weight of 72,840 pounds. Truck, trailer, and full load. The second ticket from Lawrence showed a gross weight of 34,120 pounds. Truck and trailer. No load, somewhere between Abilene and Lawrence. 42 pallets of soup, 38,120 pounds, had disappeared. Hallis called the distribution center in Kansas City. He asked for the shipping manager. Did you ever receive a partial load from Arrowhead Logistics in April 2015? No, we received nothing. Did any other trucking company deliver canned soup that week? The manager checked the logs. 3 companies. All accounted for, all sealed and verified. Hallis called Arrowhead Logistics. He asked the dispatcher, "Did Claire ever haul high-value freight?" "No, she was new. We gave her simple loads. Groceries, paper goods, low-risk stuff." Was the soup load insured? Standard cargo insurance. But it was never reported missing. The load was inspected and released. We got paid. Who signed for the inspection? The dispatcher pulled the file. Federal DOT inspector. Name's Carlin, out of the Hayes office. Hallis called the Hayes DOT office. Inspector Carlin had retired in 2017. Hallis requested his contact information. Carlin answered on the third ring. "I remember that load," Carlin said. 42 pallets, sealed and shrink-wrapped. I counted every case. Everything matched the manifest. Did you open any of the cases? No, the seals were intact. The shipper verified the count. No reason to dig deeper. Did the cans feel right? Weight sound? Carlin paused. I didn't pick them up. I just eyeballed the stack. Hallis thanked him and hung up. He opened the evidence photos from the trailer inspection. He zoomed in on the nearest pallet. The shrink wrap was clear. The cases were stacked tight. The labels showed soup, tomato, chicken, noodle, vegetable. He zoomed in closer. The labels looked professional. But the print quality was slightly off. The red was too bright, the font slightly bolder than standard. He called a food safety investigator in Topeka. He asked, if someone wanted to counterfeit a pallet of canned soup, how hard would it be? Not hard. Print fake labels, fill the cans with water or sand, seal them. If no one opens the cans, no one knows. Would the weight match? Close enough. A can of soup weighs about 14 ounces. A can of water weighs about 16 ounces. Most inspectors wouldn't notice a 2-ounce difference across 42 pallets. Hallis hung up. He called the canning facility in Hutchinson. He asked for the shipping supervisor. Do you keep samples of your labels? We archive everything. Why? I need a comparison sample from April 2015. The supervisor mailed a label. Hallis compared it to the photos from the trailer. The archived label had a matte finish. The labels in the photos had a gloss finish. The colors were close but not identical. The font weight was slightly different. The pallets were fake. Hallis called the FBI. The case was transferred to a federal cargo theft task force. Agents interviewed employees at the Hutchinson facility. One worker, a loader named Torres, admitted he had been approached in March 2015 by a man offering $5,000 to let a truck bypass the loading dock cameras. Torres refused. The man left. Torres never saw him again. He never reported the incident. The FBI reviewed surveillance footage from the Hutchinson facility on April 8, 2015, the day Claire's load was supposedly packed. The footage showed Claire's trailer backing into the dock at 6:18 a.m. The dock door closed. 90 minutes later, the door opened and the trailer pulled away. The footage was time-stamped and unedited. But the FBI noticed something. The dock had 2 bays. Claire's trailer used Bay 2. At the same time, another trailer, unmarked white, no company logo, was parked in Bay 1. That trailer arrived at 5:52 a.m. and left at 7:41 a.m., 13 minutes after Claire's trailer. The white trailer's license plate was obscured by a trailer door that had swung partially open. The FBI requested the facility's shipping logs. Bay 1 was listed as empty on April 8th. No load recorded. No paperwork. The FBI interviewed the dock supervisor. He said Bay 1 had been reserved for maintenance that day. A repair crew was supposed to fix a hydraulic lift. The crew never showed. The bay sat empty all morning. The footage said otherwise. The FBI tracked the white trailer using toll records and weigh station cameras. The trailer had crossed into Oklahoma on April 9th at 11:47 a.m. It was never seen again. The FBI concluded the real load had been swapped at the Hutchinson facility. Claire's trailer had been loaded with counterfeit pallets. The real load, 38,120 pounds of soup, had been loaded into the white trailer in Bay 1 and driven south. Claire may have been aware of the swap, or she may have been deceived. Either way, someone wanted the counterfeit load to reach Kansas City, be inspected, and be signed off as legitimate, but Claire never delivered the load. She stopped at the bridge. She uncoupled the trailer, she reset her ELD, and she vanished. The FBI reviewed the fuel card note one more time, checked the BOL. The handwriting was analyzed. It matched Claire's handwriting from her employment application. She had written the note herself. In December 2025, 10 years after she disappeared, a hiker in the Flint Hills near Council Grove, Kansas, found a metal toolbox buried in a dry creek bed. Inside the toolbox, a truck logbook, a folded map, and a handwritten letter. The logbook belonged to Claire. The map showed a route from Hutchinson to a rural address in Missouri, 50 miles south of Kansas City. The address was circled in red. The letter was dated April 9, 2015. It was addressed to Claire's brother. It read, "If you find this, I'm sorry. I thought I could fix it. I thought I could prove it. But I can't drive the load to Kansas City. They'll know. The soup is fake. The real load is already gone. I'm leaving the trailer at the bridge, so someone will find it and check. I'm going to the address on the map. I need to see what's there. If I don't come back, tell Mom I tried. Claire." The FBI raided the address in Missouri. The property was abandoned. The barn had been used as a warehouse. Empty pallets, torn shrink wrap, industrial label printers. Forensic teams found traces of tomato paste, chicken broth, and vegetable concentrate. They also found a partial fingerprint on a printer that matched a known cargo thief named Edgar Ruiz, wanted in 6 states for truck hijackings and load swaps. Ruiz was arrested in Texas in January 2026. He denied any involvement. He provided an alibi for April 2015. The alibi was verified. Ruiz had been in a county jail in New Mexico from March 28 to April 12, 2015, serving a sentence for an unrelated theft. The FBI expanded the investigation. They identified 2 associates of Ruiz, a man named Petty and a woman named Oscar, who had worked with him on previous schemes. Both had disappeared in 2016. Petty's truck, a white Chevrolet pickup, was found burned in a field near Emporia, Kansas, in May 2016. Oscar's body was found in a storage unit in Wichita in July 2016. Cause of death, gunshot wound. The case was ruled a homicide. No suspect was ever charged. The FBI concluded Claire had discovered the load swap, either by accident or through suspicion, and had attempted to document the fraud by leaving the trailer at the bridge with the fake load intact. She had driven to the Missouri address, possibly hoping to find evidence or confront the thieves. She was likely intercepted by Petty or Oscar. What happened after that remains unknown. Her body has never been found. The white pickup that followed her from Salina was never identified. The phone number on the map, 555-208, Rand, was traced to a disconnected prepaid line purchased in Oklahoma in 2014. No owner on record. In March 2026, the Kansas State Patrol closed the case. Claire Donovan was declared legally dead. Her mother held a memorial service in Omaha. 63 people attended. Family, former co-workers, a few drivers who had met her at truck stops. Sergeant Hallis attended. He stood in the back. After the service, Claire's brother approached him. "Do you think she's really gone?" Hallis didn't answer right away. He looked out the window at the parking lot, at the highway beyond. "I think she tried to do the right thing," he said. "And I think someone stopped her." The brother nodded. He handed Hallis a photograph. It showed Claire standing beside her tractor at a rest area, arms crossed, smiling. In the background, a white pickup truck was parked 3 spaces away. Hallis took the photo. He studied it. The license plate on the pickup was angled just enough to be unreadable. He thanked the brother and left. The trailer that sat in the creek for 6 hours that April evening was eventually sold at auction. A farm supply company bought it and used it to haul feed for 8 years. The tractor was returned to Arrowhead Logistics and assigned to a new driver. It logged another 340,000 miles before the transmission failed in 2021. The company scrapped it. The load, 42 pallets of counterfeit soup, was destroyed by court order in 2016. No one ever opened a single can. If you've driven Interstate 70 west of Topeka, you've passed mile marker 208. There's nothing there now but a bridge and a creek and a pull-off where maintenance trucks park. But on certain April evenings, when the light is low and the air is still, drivers say they see a single set of boot prints in the mud leading to the water. They never see the second set.